Good morning, it's September 19th, and this is To My Liberal Friends. Well, don't look now, but gas prices are on the rise again. Oil's now at $91 per barrel, which is a $10 increase from a month ago, and we expect it to probably hit the $100 a barrel mark again. You can expect to see other prices increase in the near future as manufacturers and producers see their shipping costs increase. The American public is already seeing the impact at the gas pumps. The national average for a gallon of regular gas is now at $3.88. Here in the western part of the United States, we're approaching $4.50 per gallon. In California, the state that never met a regulation they could not implement, is now at $5.69 per gallon on average. More importantly, the price of diesel, which is used to transport goods by truck, is up 23 cents per gallon from a month ago, and the national average is now at $4.57. Every other refined product is rising as well. Jet fuel is increasing, which means higher airfares for travelers. The three major U.S. airlines, Delta, United, and American, have already sounded the alarm. Higher energy costs are raising the concerns of a negative impact on the broader economy at a time when the Federal Reserve is aiming to curb inflation. Fed officials are expected to hold interest rates steady when they meet this week, but will still keep the door open to one more rate hike later this year. Energy prices, specifically gasoline and diesel, were the biggest culprit of August's hotter than expected consumer price index that was released last week. According to Claudia Sahm, a former Federal Reserve Board economist, we should all be paying attention and realize that the oil issue, the higher gas prices, it should be a reminder to all of us that the Fed is not in charge of inflation and their actions are only designed to tame the beast. What has been the Biden administration response to the rise in energy prices? They will tell you to go out and buy an electric car even if you don't have the money to plunk down for an expensive vehicle. Buy it even if you don't have a garage to park the car in and plug it in at night. They say this because the political neophytes that inhabit the West Wing of the White House live in a bubble without any real idea about what the average American deals with on a daily basis. To them, policy trumps reality as they worship at the altar of climate change. The current U.S. inflation rate is 3.7% for the 12-month period leading up to August 2023. Inflation rose 0.6% in August from the previous month, and that's according to the latest release from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The BLS noted that the gasoline and shelter indices were the largest contributors to the monthly uptick in August. The next monthly update will be released sometime in middle October. This begs the obvious question: why are the oil prices rising, and is there anything we can do about it? A combination of supply cuts from OPEC and its allies, China beginning to recover from its pandemic lockdowns last year, and a U.S. economy that's still being powered by consumer spending, the result of the government pumping trillions into the economy, have helped to fuel the increase, which is about 40% since June. Saudi Arabia and other OPEC nations have cut production by about 2.5 million barrels per day, and they've shown no inclination to increasing production as they have vested interest in keeping prices high to fund the projects they've committed to in the next 10 years. There are some solutions available to the United States to help ameliorate the problem, but the Biden administration seems adverse to implementing them. They've exhausted the use of this SPR and seem to be willing to allow prices to increase. The option staring them in the face is to increase supply. They continue to wage a non-stop war on all fossil fuels, and that means there's no chance of them using policy that might stimulate more oil production within the United States. The administration seems tone deaf to the concept that oil exists in a global market, and despite the U.S. producing significant amounts of oil, it could produce more if the administration was not scaring off future investment in fossil fuel resources. They blocked drilling in Alaska, and just this week they banned drilling on several thousand acres in New Mexico for a period of 50 years. And that means that inflation could be once again creeping up, and this is confusing to the wonder kids that inhabit the White House staff. They keep saying the economy is so fine, so everyone should be happy. What they're not understanding is the effect that record high inflation had last year on both the pocketbooks and the psyche of the American public. When you go to the grocery store, you're still feeling sticker shock at the prices compared to 18 months ago. If you're in the market for a new home, you're looking at mortgage rates near 7%, and that means your house payment would be double what it was 2 years ago for the same amount on your mortgage. Now throw in increasing gas prices, it should not take that much brain power to realize why the average American is feeling less confident about the direction of the nation and why Joe Biden's approval numbers remain in the toilet. Now, I'm honest enough to admit that the economy is doing better than I thought it would. But prices went up and they're not coming down. Wages have not kept up with the levels of inflation we have witnessed. Inflation has cut buying power. If you compare this to the second quarter of 2020 to the second quarter of 2023, real median wages have fell by 7%. And that's what the average American is experiencing, and nobody in the administration, least of all Joe Biden, is offering any real solution. And just saying Bidenomics is working does not mean that it is, and most American people have realized that. This has been To My Liberal Friends. Thanks for listening. If you enjoy the podcast, hit the subscribe button. If you have a comment, please leave it.